well, we're talking about the inauguration.
Yeah.
And you said you marked it in a friend's house, a co-worker's house.
Yeah, and there were several of us there, and we watched and we cheered, and some wept. I definitely shed a couple of tears just in awe of the experience. And then afterwards I went to a party.
American party?
An American party. Lots of Ghanaians were there. There were lots of Ghanaians there, but it was thrown by the African American Association in Ghana. And it was great. It was really nice. It was a very happy occasion.
Okay, but you were doing all of this in Ghana. What do we have to learn, or perhaps what do we in Ghana have to teach Obama?
What do we have to learn from
Obama? Or possibly teach Obama?
I think what we can learn from Obama is his idea of personal responsibility in national growth, towards national growth. In Ghana, I don't think the everyday person, has a sense of personal responsibility to the development of the country. If you talk of sanitation, if you talk about education, if you talk about food storage and waste management and waste itself, there's so many things that Ghanaian people don't take responsibility
Obama
for.
comes from the south side of Chicago. I would not say southern Chicago it's a good example of being responsible for yourself.
But he has made significant efforts and made significant progress in helping to bring that area out of its mire. Because if you know anything about south side of Chicago, where projects like Cabrini Green are, if you know anything about where south side of Chicago, where projects like the Cabrini Green project, one of the largest state projects, housing projects in the country are, you know that they were put together at a time where America had, lost so badly economically, and the government basically through FDR put up these state projects, and people lived in these state government funded projects, and believe me, it deteriorated. Those communities deteriorated because the people didn't have to pay for the housing, because the people were getting free money and not being forced to be responsible for it. They destroyed it. And I think that happens in Ghana a lot. People just throw garbage on the side of the road because Zoom line will pick it up. People don't take care of their school books because school is free, so what's the big deal? A lot of people don't have the mindset that everybody is responsible for everybody's success. There should be some kind of social contract in Ghana, and I think that's...
What can Ghana teach Obama's America?
Obama's America?
What can Ghana teach?
Ironically, a very similar thing. Americans are quite individualistic, although Obama himself is trying to create an American culture of unity and community. And I think that his people, the American people, could learn from him and Ghana in terms of the spirit of community that exists. In Ghana, there aren't so many laws that are really properly enforced, but the people seem to have a natural ability to help each other. Even when they lack all the resources. I mean, we don't have good ambulatory services here. But if something is to happen right now on the roadside right here, people will get together and help whoever is hurt if there's an accident. I mean, people just help each other out. You don't see as many homeless people, except people with maybe disabilities or things. You don't see as many homeless people. People always find somewhere to stay because people just feel that it's the role of other people to help help another person out. So in America, we haven't really had that culture. Everyone's pretty much on their own, doing their own thing. And I think that communal, relationship that Ghanaians have with each other, I think would be a great thing for
as we ourselves, we've just had an election, and in fact, in a certain way, I think Obama was important in our own election. Did you find that strange? Was it proper that Obama became,
I think it's
if you want, important in our election?
I really don't. I think that Obama will be important in any African nation's election process because he is an African man. He's of African descent. And he represents all the possibilities for Africans. Africans have been very deprived, marginalized. We've had so many issues. And for an African to be in the highest position of power that kind of any world leader could be in, the president of the United States is probably the most powerful president in the world. I think that
that's to be expected.
I think it should be expected.
Let's get specific. In the Ghanaian election, Atamils especially, quite with the benefit of hindsight, can say successfully claimed the Obama mantle. In your view, was that justified?
I think it was very superficial.
Superficial? In what way?
His motto was change. And in fact, that was another party's motto. And then suddenly it became the motto of Atamils. If you remember initially, Atamils' slogan was Yabre, Betaye.
Okay.
And then a smaller party had the CPP, a smaller, very prominent but small party, had the slogan from the beginning, air system, we're changing. Okay, and suddenly one day you turn on the TV and all the ads for the NDC are we are changing. And then it's like, how do we get people to buy into the fact that we're changing? Oh, throw Obama's face on the thing. I don't really see how.
But beyond the sloganeering,
anyway, I didn't see how the campaign in any way.
NDC is a social democratic party. The Democratic Party is a social democratic.
The Social Democratic Party, really? I don't know about that.
Okay.
I don't think any.
That's what they say.
I don't think that any Ghanaian party really has an identity yet, a full identity yet. Ghana is a very new democracy, and I think the parties are still shaping out their philosophies. And I would not tote one party as a social democratic party and one as a like a capitalist, democratic party or whatever. I wouldn't do that because I think they're too new. The NDC, for example, has never really had a regime independent of the military regime that preceded it, PNDC. Rawlings, even though Rawlings was an NDC president, he doesn't really represent something different than PNDC. You understand? The military regime that preceded him is a democratic regime. He was the same face and represented the same things. This would be the first time.
Would it be right to say that you'd have been more comfortable than Akufo-Addo presidency?
Who would be more comfortable?
You.
Would I have been more comfortable?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think I would be more comfortable because I have real issues with both sides. From what I'm seeing, I mean, as somebody who's only lived in Ghana for a while, it might be, inappropriate for me to speak on it because I haven't been here. But I really do have some issues with the New Patriotic Party's, positions. But at the same time, I have some issues with the way.
What issues do you have? What are the important issues that you have with the?
I have one fundamental issue with the New Patriotic Party.
Which is?
It presents itself in such an elitist way. That's how I see it.
Can you give a concrete example from the campaign?
The language used to explain things to the populace, I think, is not fair. Sometimes,
can you still give a more specific example?
Okay, for instance, the debate, one of the political debates. I think a very simple question was asked about the impact of the national health insurance.
Yeah.
And if you would listen to Nana Akufo-Addo's response, it was full of jargon, very big technical words, that only people with higher education would be able to access. You understand? I think that alone. I find that, I don't know. I know a lot of people in the New Patriotic Party, and I just feel like the air is more elitist than other parties. And even as the campaign went on, it really was more about the bigger issues, not about the people.